I want to say a few words about an interesting event that was held in Charleston earlier this week, sponsored by a national organization called Third Way that represents the corporate wing of the Democratic Party, a group that receives a substantial amount of their support from Wall Street. At this Third Way meeting, I was called, quote, an existential threat to the Democratic Party. Now, why am I an existential threat? Well, maybe it's because my administration will finally take on the insurance companies and the drug companies and pass a Medicare for all single-payer program. Maybe it's because we're going to break up the major banks on Wall Street and lower interest rates for consumers. Maybe it's because we're going to take on the fossil fuel industry and transform our energy system into sustainable energy. Maybe it's because we will demand that the wealthy and large corporations start paying their fair share of taxes so that we can make public colleges and universities tuition-free and substantially reduce student debt in this country. And maybe it's because we're going to take on the military-industrial complex and end endless wars in this country and not get into a war in Iran. Now, existential threats notwithstanding, let me say a few words about how we defeat Donald Trump, the most dangerous president in American history. We defeat Trump by running a campaign of energy and enthusiasm that substantially grows voter turnout, that gets young people, minorities, and working people involved in the political process in a way we have never seen. And that means not only do we attack the obscene levels of income and wealth inequality in America, in which 3 people own more wealth than the bottom half of America, but we also take on the grotesque level of racial disparities in America. We recently celebrated Juneteenth, but 154 years after that day, we see a racial gap that leaves the average black family with 10 times less wealth than the average white family. We see the infant mortality rate in black communities more than double for white communities. We see young people, African Americans, graduating college $7,000 more in debt than white graduates. We see black women making 61% of what white men make. And you know what? We are going to end that absurdity. We have a criminal justice system plagued by racism. We have seen an increase in hate crimes, including the horrific massacre at the Emmanuel AME Church in Charleston. This is unacceptable, and as president, I will make it my priority not only to eliminate national economic disparities, but racial disparities once and for all. We're going to stop spending $80 billion a year on mass incarceration. We're going to crack down on police brutality aimed primarily at people of color. We're going to shut down private prisons and eliminate cash bail. We are going to pass Congressman Jim Clyburn's 10, 20, 30 legislation to invest in distressed communities that for too long have been left behind. We're going to increase support for HBCUs. We are going to end redlining and put a stop to gentrification and build the affordable housing this country desperately needs. I have always believed that good public policy is good politics. And good public policy is to understand that in the richest country in the history of the world, all of our people are entitled to economic, racial, social, and environmental justice, and that in America, we need an economy and a government that works for all of us, not just wealthy campaign contributors and the 1%. Thank you all very much.
All right, rather short and sweet messaging coming from Senator Bernie Sanders there right out of the gate. However, offering criticism to a centrist think tank, Third Way, calling him an existential threat with his candidacy for president. But then he laid out his ideas and plans to try to focus in on the disparities, economic and social disparities in this country.